Your fate is shaped by who you let into your circle. The ancient Stoics understood the power of friendship and warned us about those who can drag us down. Our surroundings, our extended self, impact us more than it seems. The great historical philosopher Epictetus once said to associate with those who uplift you, with those whose presence brings out your best qualities. You've probably heard the saying that you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Today, we'll explore this idea further. We're going to talk about 7 types of people who can hold you back in your journey with Stoic philosophy and why it's super important to rethink your friendships with them. But before we dive in, I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe to the channel to help keep things going and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any videos. The first type of person to avoid is the complainer. We all have that friend, family member, or co-worker who always finds something wrong with everything, whether it's the weather or anything else. At work or even while eating at a popular restaurant, they never miss a chance to voice their complaints. But it's easier said than done. Constantly dealing with that negativity takes a toll on your mental state. It's like a dripping faucet, slowly draining us. Instead of fixating on the problems, we should focus on practical solutions. For example, imagine you're working on a project with someone who complains. Every meeting turns into a draining experience, and it brings the whole team down. You're getting more and more frustrated with the project, and maybe even with life in general. So, how can Stoicism help you deal with the complainer? There are a few strategies you can try. First, if you can't avoid the person, like if they're a family member or a co-worker, then the second option is to mentally distance yourself from them while they're complaining. Think of their words as a passing storm, loud and unsettling, but ultimately temporary and powerless. Be like an immovable mountain of your own inner calm. Redirect the conversation towards a peaceful vibe. You have power over your mind, not over external events. Recognize this and you'll gain strength. This timeless Stoic wisdom urges us to fiercely guard our peace of mind so we don't get thrown off by the negativity of chronic complainers. The second type is trouble magnet. Imagine that you are sailing through life like a ship on calm waters, but then you encounter a whirlwind of drama. It seems like this person is caught in an endless cycle of crises, conflicts, or contradictions, and just like a whirlpool, it can be pretty overwhelming. The way magnets pull in energy can feel like passion or excitement. But soon enough you'll realize that being around them is like trying to steer a ship in a storm. It's exhausting and risky. What makes dealing with a trouble magnet so tough is that their crises often feel like your own. Their chaos is contagious, and you might find yourself dragged into a conflict you had nothing to do with in the first place. Let's look at a practical example. You have a friend who often quarrels with people in your social circle. So today, she's not talking to one friend, and tomorrow, it's another one. Your friend turns to you for advice, but you notice this cycle never ends. Suddenly, you realize there's this thing called reflective listening. Instead of giving advice or taking someone's side, for example, if they say, "I can't believe she said that about me," you could respond with, "So you feel betrayed by her words." This way, you can offer emotional support without getting pulled into the drama. Another approach to drama might seem counterintuitive, especially for outsiders dealing with crises, especially if they happen without warning. Turn off your phone during certain hours and set aside some time to focus on personal growth. Make it clear that you don't want to be disturbed during this time. To rephrase, true happiness is about enjoying the present without being anxious about the future. This can be especially useful when dealing with dramatic situations. Instead of worrying about what crisis might hit next, focus on the present moment that you can control. Enjoy your life, and don't let someone else's trauma mess it up. Learn to steer your ship calmly, avoiding the whirlpools that threaten your journey to personal growth and peace. The third type is skeptic. Now imagine you're an artist painting on a canvas. Every brushstroke adds color, depth, and life to your vision, but then a skeptic shows up. They walk into your studio and take a look at your work. People start criticizing your work right away, asking, "Are you sure about this color? It doesn't look realistic." You know that most artists never find success. Their words are like strokes of gray paint, dulling your bright canvas. This isn't constructive criticism. It's a constant aura of doubt and negativity. Let's say you really want to start a new career. You've done your research, talked to professionals in the field, and maybe even taken a few introductory courses. When you share your enthusiasm with people who wish you ill, might say you don't have the right skills. What if you fail? Soon their doubts start to echo your own, and the confidence you had begins to waver. So, how do you deal with these naysayers, especially if it's someone close to you? One unconventional but effective way is to ask for their advice instead of just sharing your plans or goals. They're less likely to outright criticize your ideas and might offer more constructive feedback. One way to flip the script is by using a technique called positive confrontation. Instead of soaking up their negativity, encourage them to think about solutions. If they say, "You'll never be able to change careers at this point," respond with, "Actually, many people have successfully switched careers." This not only distracts from the negativity, but also nudges the conversation in a more constructive direction. Remember the saying, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we talk." Listening doesn't mean sucking in all the negativity around you, it means being able to tell the valuable input from just the background noise. Naysayers start to lure you in with their shades of doubt. Take a step back and watch out for the 4th type of people you should avoid: the eternal victim. Imagine life like a game of chess, where both players have the same pieces and one goal: to checkmate the opponent's king. You think strategically, make sacrifices, and take risks, but the victim blames the board, the pieces, or even the opponent for every single failure. In their eyes, they're always in checkmate, but not because of real reasons. Their story is like an endless tale of woe where they play the role of a helpless protagonist, blaming external forces for their choices. It's important to acknowledge that some people do face real challenges and systemic issues, but those victims we talk about often use their struggles as a constant excuse, refusing to take responsibility for their actions or lack thereof. Listen to them, but try not to get caught up in the cycle of always being there for them. Remember, don't fall into the trap of becoming a victim. Take control of your own game, make your moves, and remember that in the chess game of life, a perpetual checkmate is a choice, not fate. Move your pieces forward, make strategic sacrifices when needed, and play not for revenge or pity, but for growth and wisdom. The 5th type of person to avoid is the toxic, positive thinker. You know the type, the one who always radiates sunshine, rainbows, and endless emoji streams. They're the ones telling you just be happy when you're going through a tough time. It's like riding a carefree wave of shiny optimism. Imagine your life as a garden. There are flowers, but also weeds and pests, like toxic positivity. These folks insist on ignoring everything that isn't a blooming rose. Sure, there's some aphids on your leaves, but they tell you to just focus on the flowers and not let any negativity into your garden. But let's be real. If you're dealing with a rough breakup, feeling upset and lost while trying to find your emotional balance, those toxic positivity vibes just don't cut it. They're saying there's plenty of fish in the sea, just smile and be happy. This excessive positivity ignores the complexity of human emotions. Splashing around good vibes isn't enough. The only real strategy is to engage them in a conversation that covers both the light and the dark. If they say, "Look at it from the bright side, at least you have your health," you can reply, "Yeah, I'm thankful for my health, but it's also okay to feel upset about this." What psychologists call emotional granularity is the ability to feel and acknowledge those mixed emotions. Recognizing a wide range of emotions, both good and bad, is important, especially when a toxic positive person pushes you to just be happy. Take the time to acknowledge and express your own feelings. Seneca talks about having a relationship with God and others while enjoying the present without stressing about the future. It's all about finding a balance between understanding responsibilities, which aren't always fun, and enjoying the moment. A Stoic approach isn't just about focusing on the positive or negative, it's about embracing the full spectrum of experiences. It's about handling life's challenges with a cool head. So the next time a toxic positivity person waltzes into your carefully curated space, take a step back. Remember, your garden needs both sunshine and rain to thrive, and embrace your whole emotional spectrum. Keep nurturing your garden with the richness and complexity it deserves. The sixth type of person is a manipulator. Now think of your life like a movie script. You're the main character, and you have a vision of how your story should unfold. Where will it go? Twists and turns. Who are your allies and mentors? And what will your ending look like? A manipulator, a shadowy producer, sneaks in and rewrites the script without you even noticing. Then one day, you realize your storyline has veered off course. The manipulator is skilled at emotional or psychological maneuvering. They can use flattery, guilt, or even deceit to steer you in a way that benefits them. You might have a friend who always manages to convince you to pick up the tab for dinner. He said something like, "You know, I had a tough month and you're doing so well. That doesn't mean much to you, but it will make my day better." Over time, you'll realize that people took advantage of your kindness, but it's awkward to bring it up because they framed it as helping a needy friend. Dealing with a manipulator can be tricky. One way to push back against their tactics, as some experts call it, is to agree with any truth in what they say. Refusing to give in to emotional pressure when someone tells you you're so successful that you should host dinner. You can respond, "You're right, I'm doing well, but let's split the bill like we usually do." Another approach is to set clear boundaries. If someone wants to borrow money or make you commit to something uncomfortable, learn to confidently say no. Keep your tone calm and your words clear. "I can't lend you money, but I'm here to offer emotional support." That way, you maintain your boundary while still being supportive. Even so, we can always choose how to react. Manipulators thrive on your predictable responses. They play on your kindness, guilt, or need for approval. By deciding to respond differently, you take control of the situation again. So if you find a manipulator lurking in your life, remember that the pen is in your hands. The characters in your story can be all sorts of people, but your journey should always be defined by your own values. Take control of your own story, and don't let anyone manipulate the plot of your life. The seventh type of person to avoid is the time vampire. Imagine your daily routine as a well-orchestrated symphony, where each instrument is a task contributing to a harmonious balance. But then a time vampire joins in, screaming out of tune, drowning out the melody, and disrupting the flow of your life's composition. Time vampires are those who constantly demand your time and attention, often without giving anything back in return. Nothing valuable. It's possible that someone is calling you for long conversations that throw off your schedule, or a colleague keeps interrupting your work with unnecessary questions, making you miss deadlines. They're not just wasting your time, they're disrupting your focus, productivity, and peace of mind. To deal with these time vampires, you need to set clear boundaries. Politely let them know when you're available for calls or meetings, and when you need to concentrate and get work done without interruptions. During breaks, encourage them to respect your schedule just like you respect theirs. Another strategy is to redirect their demands to more productive or effective ways of communicating. For example, If a friend tends to have long, aimless phone calls, suggest switching to shorter, more focused text messages or emails for quick updates or questions. This way, you can regain control over your time and avoid it being drained away. In Stoic philosophy, a key focus is on understanding what is within your control. Stay in control. Time vampires often try to take over your schedule and attention, but you can hold your ground by setting boundaries. Remember the Stoic saying, it's not about having too little time, but about how we waste it. Surround yourself with people who lift you up and align with Stoic principles. It's crucial for your growth in Stoic philosophy and personal development. Learn to spot the complainer, the trouble magnet, the skeptic, the eternal victim, the toxic positivity types, the manipulator and the time vampire. By avoiding them, you can protect your peace of mind, focus on what really matters, and walk your Stoic path with resilience and virtue. Share in the comments which of these 7 types of people you've encountered in your life and what it cost you. Every story will be a great addition to our community's experience. Thanks for watching, and if you found this video helpful, please give it a like and subscribe to support our ongoing exploration of Stoic philosophy. Participating and sticking to these principles helps create a community of people striving for wisdom, courage,